Autumn, Twin Uzis, Autumn Marwick, whatever you want to call him, is one of the best plug-and B artists, and recently he's been putting out some great music as well. His fan base isn't as big as Summers, but despite that fact, he has more followers than Summers on Instagram, as well as more monthly listeners on Spotify, but just by a little bit. Anyways, for many years, Autumn has put out some great music, and consistently, not a lot of artists can say that. He doesn't really take breaks, and went from being a skinny kid working at Walmart to getting rich off music. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how I got into his music, his evolution, his journey, influence, and of course, my personal thoughts on all these topics. I first discovered Autumn a little after I found Summers listening to a song or two. It took me a while to get used to his voice, and I don't remember what I was listening to. I just remember thinking he was alright, and I didn't even know he made plug and B like that. Then he dropped his project Il's Verant, which was an amazing album. Songs like Girls from the Club and Big Stepper are amazing. And around that time, I thought he could have really blown up with that mainstream sound. Obviously that didn't happen, even though he continues to make more mainstream music alongside his plug and B stuff. But as I became a bigger fan of his, I found out about his older music, which is mostly plug and B. He has tapes and tapes of plug and B, by the way. So a running joke with Autumn fans is how old he is. He's not actually old, just for his scene. He's 25 years old. Summers is 23 if you're wondering, but I guess most rappers, especially rappers making plug and B like Lil Shine's like 19 or something, or most, they're really young. Autumn was actually really young when he was making music. He started making beats when he was 11, and he didn't even start rapping until much later when he was 19. So that's 8 years into his music journey, and he taught himself how to play piano, guitar, and other instruments, and was a very musical kid growing up. Even how he got started making beats was very personal. His brother didn't love him or like him at all. So he used to make beats because he knew his brother liked music just so that he could hang out with his brother, which is kind of sad. If you check out his oldest music, which honestly I wouldn't, it's not great unless you're like a fan or something. Most of it isn't mixed well and just isn't good. He said that his first song, where he had vocals, was just to hear what he sounded like. He never wanted to be a rapper at all. He was actually encouraged to start rapping by both Summers and Texaco. Texaco is someone who's been in the scene for years but just never popped off. No big TikTok song, no big feature, and had some allegations that damaged his reputation, if you don't know who that is. But Autumn's early music was filled with Texaco features, and they were close collaborators back then. But Autumn's music did get very good in just a year. In 2018, a lot of his plug and B stuff was amazing. It wasn't super polished either. It had like the specific sound, and that was what made it sound so good in my opinion, or at least what makes it sound so good now. And a lot of newer rappers or plug and B rappers try to recreate that mix and sound. He dropped a collab tape with Summers called LSD. He also dropped one of his biggest songs to this day, Can't Take It, featuring Summers. And a lot of Autumn's music was just copying Summers, which he talks about, and I wouldn't even say it's a bad thing. They were just really good friends in real life, and Autumn was putting out good music. They're also a great duo to this day. Autumn and Summers met through the internet, and at the time Summers was no one really, and Autumn had more followers than him. On top of that, they weren't even Autumn and Summers. It was Louis VD, Summers' old name, and Trap God Benji, Autumn's old name. He got his new name Autumn from the season after Summers because he started rapping after Summers. And the name Twin Uzis came from him looking at a Slime Cedo picture where he was like holding up two Uzis or something, and then he said in the song and it just caught on. He also calls himself Wick, that's just like a nickname. What's crazy is that they really created plug and B, which other than plug is the only real underground subgenre. There's a trend in the underground where people love to just make up subgenres, and it's really just a slightly different type of music. But plug and B is really a genre, and there are hundreds of plug and B artists. I don't even know if there being hundreds of plug and B artists is like a good thing, but I don't know, I just think it's kind of funny. At the time, it was R&B with trap drums, and there are debates on whether or not Summers and Autumn created plug and B with Zangang, or if it was people like Corey Lingo and other artists, or even Texaco who helped. In reality, it was all of them. Summers and Autumn just went on to become huge, so they got all the credit, and honestly rightfully, because I guess that's just how it works. Apparently Autumn would be at Summers' crib and he'd watch him record, see him sing in person, go home and copy that. Autumn was actually in college as well, at first for media / the music business, and said if he went back he would become a pediatrician. I'm not making that up, he actually said that. I honestly couldn't imagine him doing that, but it was in 2018, so who knows. In 2018, he was also ready to sign a deal, and it was for a measly 40K, which is crazy to think about. Like, imagine signing or selling your music for 40K. He just wanted enough to cover his living costs for a year because he was working minimum wage at Walmart. Anyways, 2019 was one of the best years to be an Autumn fan. In the end of 2018, Autumn dropped Retribution 3, one of his best projects. He got the cover from an anime, Parasite. Right after he dropped that, he dropped Modern Day Michelangelo, another great tape, a collab tape with Summers, Wick and Clancy, a lot of great music. Even a song called I Think She's the One with Texaco and Summers. Another really good tape he dropped was 4, which is also fire. And he dropped even more music other than that, like more tapes. That year, in 2019, he also posted a mugshot. Later, he was exposed for it being fake. Everyone was like, free Wick. I don't know why he did that because he had nothing to prove. No one thought he was some weak dude or not cool or like not street enough. Autumn was pretty fire. He has this habit of having guns in his trillers and he has mad pictures with guns in them as well as cash. Maybe Autumn is the most humble rapper, but Autumn's mugshot is just so random to me. Like, I don't know why he thought he had to do that. It was a pretty lame thing to do, and it's just a stain on his career now. I just realized I forgot to say he faked the mugshot. That's why it was so weird. Just objectively like a lame thing to do. And it's just like a stain on his career now. In his new song, Can't Rent Anymore, he said, still remember when HPD booked me? Bro, remember what? You were never booked. But I mean, I guess the stick is still going, and HPD stands for Houston Police Department, by the way. 2019 was also when he started dating BK the Rula. He was 17 apparently, and he was 22. I don't know if that's weird to you. I think it's legal in his state or something. It's not a wild age gap or anything. They made some music, and Autumn even has a live talking about the topic, except he's not the subject of that. It was about Summer's allegations, and I don't really know what to think about it. It's like a controversial topic for Autumn fans, and it's partly where the whole accusations come from. BK has also gone on to become pretty big. He's dated doo-wop as well, by the way. Someone Autumn had beef with later on. 2020 was also a great year for Autumn as well. He dropped Still the Same, cool song, one of his biggest songs at the time. I actually didn't really even like the song that much. It was just alright to me. Lil Tecca hopped on it, and they're actually friends from even way before. And something people might not know is Summers and Lil Tecca had some beef. Summers' song F the Industry is a Lil Tecca diss. He said something about only being friends with Tecca because he was popular and that started it. I forgot the details, which must have been pretty awkward for Autumn. He also dropped Ills Verant and Solitary, and actually worked with Yeat quite a lot before Yeat blew up. Yeat was even featured on Solitary. He actually had more songs with Yeat than Can did, and put on for Yeat more than Can did at the time, if you think about it. He had 3 songs. He had a song called Breezy 3, probably part of Solitary, and Meh, a Playboi Carti remix. So Autumn definitely helped Yeat out quite a bit. You also got to remember that Autumn was much bigger than Yeat at the time, so he was helping him for sure. Ills Verant was also a great project. A lot of the songs could honestly go mainstream. They had that sound, and it wasn't plug and be, it was more polished. In 2021, he dropped a bunch of projects. My favorite was Simp Music. I loved Autumn's old plug and be sound. It was so good. And normally when rappers bring back their old style, it's not the same. Simp Music was literally exactly the same. Like, he forgot nothing. It was heavenly. It was amazing. I really recommend you check out If It Means Anything. That song was really good. However, in 2021, the beefs he got into overshadowed the music he released, and he got into quite a few shenanigans with Can, Yeat, Doo-Wop Kane, and years earlier, even Comethazine. So the Comethazine was years before 2021, and Comethazine even had beef with Summers. Not even beef, really, he just came at Summers. So he definitely knew Autumn was friends with Summers and said he was stealing swag. I'm gonna put up 2 pictures of Autumn and Comethazine. Now, I want you to go listen to their music and tell me it had nothing to do with how Autumn looked like. Like, bro, Comethazine makes aggressive rap music and Autumn makes plug and be. Those are nothing alike. Whatever the opposite of stealing swag is, that's what was going on there. Unless you call dyeing your hair blonde or yellow or whatever color that is stealing swag. His beef with Can was pretty stupid as well. Can got locked up and Autumn wasn't supportive or whatever. Can got mad, said some things, and they've never really been cool since then. I mean, they're friends now, but they were pretty close back in 2019 and were dropping music, which doesn't look like it's gonna come from them anytime soon, even though they've made things good after they've fallen out. What's even worse about this beef is it made Yeat not mess with Autumn either. I don't know why he had to jump into it, but he did. And he called him out for the mugshot. Then Autumn went back and forth with them, telling Yeat to be grateful that he was even in Autumn's circle when Autumn let him in his circle, and that Autumn gave Yeat his voice, which is kind of out of pocket. I don't know. It's up to you. The Yeat thing went even further. Autumn hopped on a Yeat beat, which became Portrayal. And his next album, Antagonist, had a heavy Yeat influence. You can't even lie. The saddest part about Yeat, or the Yeat thing, is that they made really good music together. Matt blew up on TikTok and had like 10 million streams on SoundCloud before it got taken down in months. And even the Violent Bag Dance got popular through that song. But I can't lie, it didn't suit him that much. Songs like Bentley, Bottega, and Portrayal, especially Portrayal, were really good songs though. However, that was probably one of the first times I noticed Autumn getting a lot of hate. Fans kind of bullied him into getting out of that sound, and they didn't really like the project as much as he hyped it up to be, I guess. And the project was underwhelming. Even for me, I didn't really think the album was that great. He even had beef with doo-wop, which was his fault, to be honest. Like, I have no idea why he started that. He called doo-wop's music the devil music, saying Sane produced the song, no autotune. He then proceeded to give doo-wop life advice, which I thought was hilarious. Like, they weren't even friends or anything, telling doo-wop to cut off his fake friends or something, because no way his friends let him drop something like that. Doo-wop's known to be experimental, so I don't even know why Autumn felt the need to do all of that. He even wanted to collab with doo-wop back in 2018. That year, he would go on to sign a distribution deal with Victor Victor as well. That didn't go as planned because he originally was going to sign a major deal, but decided to do a test run for a year as a distribution deal, and then he didn't re-sign. So I guess he didn't get what he wanted out of it, likely because Antagonist didn't do as well as it was expected to. He dropped One Way, which was before Antagonist, which is one of his best songs, produced by him as well. It's like a romantic song, I don't know. Recently, he dropped Golden Child 3, and he's dropped other albums, but this one was the best one out of all of them. And even crashed a Trackhawk and then didn't pay for the damages. Yeah, it was a pretty bad crash. The funniest part about this is Autumn has crashed his car like 4 times before this, and this time he just made a song called Can't Write Anymore. Like, the whole thing is just really a joke to him. He doesn't care at all. Overall, Autumn is a great artist. I love his old music. Recently, I haven't been as much as a fan. Like, I'll be honest, I didn't even listen to the full album, Golden Child 3 yet. I just listened to some of it, or most of it. I like most of the songs. It's a good album. Autumn's old music just has a certain vibe to it, and some of my favorite. Lastly, rest in peace to his uncle, Drezo, who was really close with him, who unfortunately